Hello everybody, it's Chris, and as you can see, we are riding hands-free. I've got to make a little adjustment here. We're on a road that obviously is a little cambered. I wanted to do this video on an interstate, but this state road is gonna work out for the purposes of this test. So it's a cold day today. The Spyder says it's 50 degrees. My guess is it's probably 45, but that's okay. We're bundled for it. Got our winter gloves on, got my new Tourmaster jacket, and I'm well layered beneath the jacket. So I'm going to do a series of test videos this winter on temperature and what it's like to ride at different levels of, you know, Fahrenheit. I can't do the Celsius calculation, but I'm sure most of you can. But this video is not about riding in the cold. It's about Spyder stability, because I've gotten numerous folks, I'm going to just make a slight adjustment here, numerous folks who've asked me about twitchiness in the steering and jumpiness in the steering. And if you go to one of the Spyder forums, which you can find if you Google Spyder forums, there's two really good ones. Look at this. It's on cruise control, it's tracking. I'm coming to an intersection, so I'm going to break that off. But it just tracks incredibly well, and this road is cambered a little. You know, when you ride on an interstate where you have more miles that are likely to be flat because you have multiple lanes, you can pick a lane that's, you know, flatter than some of the other ones. I mean, it's just incredible. So I thought I'd take this video to address what I've addressed in other videos in a kind of a sideways manner, not directly. I thought I'd spend this video exclusively addressing Spyder stability. I'm going to put it on cruise again. So I think some of you know, I've mentioned this in previous videos, I'm a private pilot. I don't fly. I haven't flown in years since I became a minimalist, but I used to fly. I'm a low-time pilot, instrument rated, and one of the things you learn when you study aviation and when you go through the training process is a lot of the turbulence in those small planes, not all of it, because the thermals on a day like today, you're going to get jostled around pretty well because the sun is going to heat the earth and create a lot of turbulence. But a lot of the turbulence that pilots feel, it's of their own creation. They're jerking that yoke, they're fighting the bumps and making it worse. And I wonder if part of some of the twitchiness and the jumpiness is, and others have speculated on this as well, is people holding the death grip on the handlebars and literally creating their own twitchiness. And I can't say that's a fact, but it's been mentioned enough that makes me think it's a possibility. I checked my tire pressure yesterday, put a little air in each tire, but the two fronts are at the same tire pressure right now. And so part of what could be twitchiness is maybe if the Spyder that you're riding isn't aligned, or maybe the tire pressure isn't synced, because that would create a problem. I don't know that it would create twitchiness as much as it would create drift, but it could be that you're reacting to that drift. The other possibility, if you're experiencing twitchiness in the steering or jumpiness, or if you're reading about it on the forums, is, so in full disclosure, this is a 2023 RT Limited. If you're riding or reading a comment from someone who's riding a 2020 through quite frankly through 2025 model RT, whether it's an RT Limited as this one is, or RTC to Sky, any of those are essentially the same build. The jumpiness in the steering shouldn't be different. However, if you're reading a comment from a Riker rider, from a Spyder F3 rider, from a Spyder RT rider pre-2020, then I can't really comment on those. It's quite possible that there is something in those Spyders that is creating, jumpiness in the steering. But I can tell you this, if you're riding a 2020 through 2025's RT, you should not have jumpiness of the steering. As you can see, this is all hands-free right now. We're got a little camber here, but so keep in mind that when I comment on there's no jumpiness or twitchiness in the steering, that's the model that I have for the model years that I mentioned. Another model could be totally different. So what I'd love to know, and I'm sure everyone watching who doesn't have a Spyder but is interested in the Spyder, what I would love to hear in the comments from those of you who have a Spyder or even a Ryker, or if you've had one in the past, have you had any experience whatsoever? And again, this is all hands-free, right? No hands, right? Have you had any experience with twitchy steering, jumpy steering, or anything like that? If you did, what model and, you know, year Spyder or Ryker did you have, and what was the resolution? I can't believe I'm going this far. Oh, I've got to slow down here, so I'm going to take it off cruise, but I don't want to kill myself, although that would make awesome video. But if you have any experience with, and I don't mean reading it in the forums, reading it on the Spyder comments for Spyder channels, if you have any experience with your Spyder, whether it's currently or in the past, with twitchiness or jumpiness, please enlighten us. Not just me, but my audience who doesn't have a Spyder yet, but they're interested in the Spyder, and that's a big part of my audience. Let us know what you ride, what you rode at the time, what was the issue, was it ever resolved? It would be very helpful. So there are a lot of good restaurants. I shouldn't say a lot, but there's a couple of really nice Mexican restaurants in the city of Niagara Falls. But I'm going for a little journey today for Mexican because there's a great one in the town of Medina, just outside of the village of Medina. And I've taken you to Medina before. Remember, we went to the Erie Canal. We actually drove underneath the Erie Canal when we went through the Medina culvert. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. That was back in the summer, so that was many videos ago, but that was a good one. But there's a really great Mexican restaurant. But anyway, in addition to doing this stability test and, you know, the demonstration of how stable a Spyder is, I'm also coming out here for a great Mexican meal at a place called Mariachi de Oro, and they do a really good job. That's a cool place. This just went up recently, and it looks like, I believe they sell, believe it or not, motorcycle accessories out of there. Obviously, it's not a retail location. They're in Middleport, New York. They're not drawing business to Middleport, New York to sell motorcycle accessories, so it must be a giant mail order company. I need to do some research to find out what it is that they sell and how they sell it. So anyway, in addition to the stability test, I'm going to have a really nice Mexican meal. I'll show it to you, and then I've got a special treat for you, and I think you're going to like it. Despite the fact that the Spyder says it's 42, my guess is it's the high, I'm sorry, the Spyder says 52. My guess is it's in the mid to high 40s right now, and it'll probably get to a high of 50 today. At least that's what's forecasted. But I think you're going to like the treat that I've got for you. So as delicious as those two chimichangas were, and they were fried with ground beef, of course, as delicious as they were, you're going to absolutely love what's coming up next in about a minute. But as we've seen on this video, this baby is as stable as it gets. Again, this is the 2000 to 2025 so far Spyder RTs. The other models that BRP makes, I can't speak for them. But again, I'd love to hear the comments from folks that ride either Spyders or Rykers or F3s, any of these models, and just comment. It'd be very helpful for those that are in the market for a Spyder or Ryker to know, is it unique to this model, or are they really all stable and people just misinterpret things like heavy input on the wheel, on the handlebars, I'm sorry, at highway speeds? Maybe that creates the turbulence. Please comment. But you're going to just love what you're about to see. We're in downtown Lockport, New York right now. Birthplace of, I forgot his name, the guy who wrote the Cannonball Run. What the heck was his name? He was an auto journalist, infamous guy, great guy, and for some reason I can't think of his name. Also, I believe the birthplace of Congressman, was it Bill Miller, Congressman Bill Miller, who was Barry Goldwater's vice presidential candidate in the 1964 race. We're now riding over the Erie Canal. There it is. And just to our left is the infamous, I guess it's not infamous, but thank you. But the Flight of Five, which is an engineering marvel. It basically takes boats up a hill on the path of the Erie Canal. And we are not going to the Erie Canal Discovery Center. We're going somewhere much, much better, and you'll see what I mean in a moment.